Hello, welcome to the Lalantia Show. Today I'm coming on to talk about how to manifest what you really want. If you are new here, welcome. My name is Lalantia. I'm a psychic realm channeler and energy healer. I specialize in working with the magical realms. I work with dragons, unicorns, mermaids, fairies, all of the different magical beings. And everything that I do is all about connecting back to your most authentic self, your own divine magic, the power that is within you, and tapping into your greater purpose so that you can live your life in alignment and in flow. And I have been on a bit of a hiatus, so it's been a while since I posted a video, and hopefully now I am back. I have been moving, and that was a little bit of an in-between of having a home, so I traveled a bit, and now I am at my new place. As you can see, the magical, beautiful scenery around me. I am deep in the Pacific Northwest in a remote place. It is absolutely stunning here. So when I tuned in to see what video I am guided to do, it was about manifesting and talking a little bit about my own journey in manifesting and sharing some of that. So I've done other videos on manifesting. Definitely make sure you check them out. And there may be some things that are repeated a bit because, I have my ways and I can't, skip over some things, but this by no means covers everything about manifesting. I have an entire program that's about manifesting, and even that doesn't cover every little thing. So the first thing that I would say is really important to recognize is that you don't need to manifest what other people say you should manifest or what you think you should manifest based on your conditioning and what society or your family or friends or whatever has. So if you grew up in a house with picket fence, you may grow up thinking that that is what you want to create for yourself. And maybe it is. Maybe that is perfect for you, but maybe it isn't. So I went from one of those houses, a big house, picket fence, not literally a picket fence. It did have a nice fence, but it wasn't picket. But I went from that and then downsized into a 3-bedroom apartment, which was my first place that was really all my own. I mean, I have my kids, but besides them, as an adult, the only adult. And I was there for 1.5 years. I was there through COVID. I was there through isolation, and it was a perfect place for me in that time, especially because an apartment complex is kind of a community, and I needed that community through that period of my life and through the isolation of COVID. So then when it came down to things, I really realized that our happiness doesn't come from things. Our happiness comes from within us. And no matter what is happening in our life, we can be happy. We can find happiness. We can be happy living in, a place that we may consider the crappiest place ever. But what we need to realize too is that we can also create that place that makes us feel at peace and at ease, right? And sometimes we don't feel that in certain places. And in the apartment, what I was feeling is that I was picking up on everybody else's energy all around me. It was getting harder for me to feel like I was in tune or connected to myself. And not all of the time, but it took a bit more effort. So when I sat down and I said, what is it that I want to create for myself? Like, I have my long-term intentions, right? I have my big picture intentions, and I know what I'm working towards. But at this moment in time, that it is not time for that. It's working towards that still, right? So when I sat down and I said, what experience brings me joy right now? And it's about being in nature. What was really hard about the apartment is I had to drive or I had to walk a ways to be in nature. And even when I walked to nature, it was in town nature. It was groomed nature. There was wild parts of it. So I was lucky in that sense, but it still wasn't the wilds of nature, right? And that's really what I craved. But the Pacific Northwest, it is I don't want to say it's hard to buy land, but it's not the cheapest place to buy land. And it's very built up. So getting remote is not the easiest. And I didn't have the means at the time. I don't have the means at this time to purchase some big piece of land with a home and everything on it. But what I found is that I also didn't want to have the responsibility of the maintenance of a home and land. And also, I don't want to be there all year long. I want to travel. So I want part of my year to be able to allow me to travel, and I wanted a place that would allow that to happen. So I asked the universe to deliver something to me, and what the universe brought me was this. So this is a piece of land. It is technically like my little piece of land, but it is situated in a private camp. And it's like my place is pretty, I can't think of the word. It's pretty, why can't my brain is just like not going to come up with a word. Private. It is private here. I don't have a bunch of people around me. There is one across the way. I made friends with them right away. They're not here all of the time. Because it is a private camp, we buy the lot basically and whatever is on it. So mine came with a camper. So everything is like here permanently, meaning everything is wired up. There's septic for each site. Everything, like instead of the temporary tubing that you use at campgrounds that has like permanent pipes, and you can't be here all year. You can only be here 234 days a year. So that allows me the freedom of going other places. Look at that sunbeam. Beautiful. So that means that I can travel to visit my family for a month. I can go to the UK for a month or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, up to 6. Travel Europe. My long-term intention is, well, this isn't even the longest term intention. This is like my next thing. Actually, the next step is being able to actually be in the UK and Europe for up to 6 months every year. And because I have children and pets and all of that, then there are things that are still falling into place to allow that to happen. But where I have moved to, it means that I can leave for 6 months and everything is safe here. I can close up camp. So my site, turn off the water, propane, put everything away, and it's good for 6 months or longer. I mean, there's people who are here, once a year, for a few days or longer, but they could maybe gone for an entire year. And that's fine because this place is safe. No, others can't come in. It's a private campground. Nobody can drive in here. So in this, it allows me to be able to do what I really want to do, right? But I still have a foundation, a home, a place that I can always return to here in the Pacific Northwest, where my kid's dad lives, and they need to see him and spend time with him. So that's my requirement at this time, according to the court, is that I need to be here for the kids to be able to see their dad, which is fine. I see that as this is where I'm meant to be at this time. The Pacific Northwest is absolutely beautiful. It is, I don't know, honestly, probably, I don't know. I would say it might be like the most beautiful place on earth, really. But I know that this is not where I am meant to end up in the end. This is where I am for now. My kids will not be young forever. In fact, 2 years, my daughter is an adult. So it is all okay. It is all how it is meant to be. But that doesn't mean that I don't continue manifesting. So for me, it was really breaking out of society's expectations of how you should live your life. of what my family, my friends, whatever expect. The thing is they all know me pretty well, and they know that I am all about breaking down the boxes. And when I said that this is what I was going to do, nobody really had any negative thing to say, other than my dad said, you want to make sure that you get a camper that's big enough for all of you. And my dad actually came with me when I looked at this site, and he thought it was amazing. And his biggest concern was the road, because the road is kind of treacherous, and the camper is small. We're crowded in there for sure. But my intention is to live small and simple. All of my stuff was just kind of weighing on me. I didn't want it anymore. It wasn't bringing me any happiness. And that's what I think we all need to realize, is that our things do not bring us happiness. They do not bring us the joy. They're just things, and they can weigh us down. And with all the moving I have been doing the past few years, it just seems like I'm just tired of hauling it around. So I have stuff in storage. I'll be getting rid of most of it, and just living simply here. And we've hardly gotten anything out of storage, and we have everything we need here. We manage just fine. Okay, so this is where it is important to know your soul, to get to know like what your soul actually wants, right? So your soul knows what you want to experience. It's not things that bring you happiness. It's experiences. It's looking within yourself and finding happiness. But your soul knows what it is that you want and need to experience. So connecting to your soul through connecting to yourself, we can just put it that way, connecting to yourself, will guide you to what you really actually want. Now, this also will show you where your fears are and where you're limiting yourself because of your fears. So I could have said, well, I don't think I want to do that because it's going to be too small for my family. Or I don't want to do that because I can only be there a few months a year and I need to figure out where else to go, blah, blah, blah. Or I could say, you know, the road is too treacherous. I'm not going to do it. But my soul knew that I needed to be here. And because I'm connected to myself, to my soul, then I knew that this felt like home. And the moment I had stepped on this property, I knew this was my place. There was not really any doubt in my mind. That was before I even went in the camper. The camper is not great, but it is a place to sleep. It is a place to store what stuff we do need to bring with to survive. And the outdoor space is absolutely incredible. Like, look at this. It's a magical fairyland. So I knew that this is where I needed to be. And I had to trust in that. Now, this is where it's important to look at what makes you happy. So for me, what makes me happy is being able to just sit in nature. I would find myself driving to a place in nature, a drive that could take a while. And then I would only have a limited amount of time to be there because I needed to get back home to take the dogs out or to do whatever. And what I really wanted was to wake up in the morning and bring my cup of coffee or whatever I'm drinking. In fact, I haven't had any coffee here yet, but whatever it is, and take it and sit outside. And I haven't watched the sunrise yet because it rises really early, but it is June, but it's being able to just step outside in the morning and be in nature and spend, like, this is my living room. This is where I spend my time. We're in the camper just when it's bedtime, or the kids are in there right now because I'm recording a video. But yeah, we don't need to be inside when it's so beautiful outside. Plus, it's cooler here. Like in town, it's supposed to be 100 something degrees this weekend. Here, it's going to be much cooler. It is incredibly humid, though, I will say that. So this is what lights me up, being in nature. Now, there are other things that light me up as well. Like I said, my intentions of being able to travel and to be in other countries for much of the year. Travel lights me up, adventures to new places, meeting with friends. Sorry, there's bugs bugging me. Experiencing things that are new to me. They light me up. I love to travel. I love to connect with people. I have friends all over the world. I love the opportunity to connect with them. So those are some of the things that bring me happiness. But what brings you happiness? What do you really want to experience each day? So now if you, sorry, it's wobbly table. Now, what would your amazing life look like if you were to experience the joy and happiness and wonder, I love that word, wonder, of each day? What would it look like? So like I had described my morning as being able to step out into nature, or my evenings watching the sunset on the lake. Stunning, beautiful scenery. So what would it be for you? And then you chronicle the things that you really want to experience: nature, travel, adventure. And then you can look into what that really looks like. Nature walks each morning, sitting in nature with your coffee, whatever it may be. Obviously, I'm giving examples of my own. For me, retreats all over the world, connections with like-minded souls, and with having my own retreat center where people can come for their own healing, and helping a lot of people. And that is what lights me up, as well as being able to stay here in this beautiful place. In fact, my intention is to hold some retreats here, although it won't be the same as my retreat center that I am creating. That is not even here in the Pacific Northwest or the United States. So you want to create that big picture for yourself, what you really want to experience. It can be the exotic life, it can be a simple life, it can be a combination of exotic and simple, which is kind of me. I want it to be exotic and simple. I don't want a lot of like having to do, I don't want to say like a lot of responsibility, because we can always hire people for things, right? And when you're manifesting things, you don't want to limit yourself. But there are things to me that make my life more simple. And I know what those things are. And I keep that in mind when I'm creating things for myself. So for me, my big picture, this is, I don't want to say it's further out. It's not here at this moment. It could be here anytime. We don't want to limit it, but it is to have my beautiful retreat center, piece of land, maybe a rescue animal center there, depending on if my daughter goes with me. And it's in the UK. And I have all kinds of visions for it. You know, I've created the garden in my mind, the creek running through it, or maybe a little waterfall that we make ourselves, depending on where it is located. But I have lots of visions for that. I know that that is what I am working towards. All of these steps that I'm taking are leading me to that place. So where I am right now is helping lead me to that place. My connecting here in nature opens those doors even faster for me. Now, when you have that big picture laid out for yourself, then you want to work backwards from there. So when you work backwards and you work backwards to now, then you'll be able to see, well, what is your next step? So for me, I wasn't really clear for quite a while. I had to let go of it. And I just kept asking the universe to show me what my next step was. I received the guidance when it was time. And here is where I have ended up. And this is providing me a lot in regards to the possibilities of what is to come. Now, you don't want to attach to the outcome. It's really important not to attach to it, which is rather hard. So for me, I've wanted to live in the UK for a long time. It has been a dream for a long time. It is hard not to attach to it. It is hard to let go and trust in the universe. But it is really important to detach and trust that the universe will create something even better than what you can imagine. So everything that I talk about, this is what I'm creating because this is what lights me up. It's what I feel so excited about and passionate about. But that doesn't mean it's going to look exactly like what I am creating in my mind or through my manifesting. It is going to be expanded by the infinite power of the universe. Sorry, there's a truck in the background I can hear. And I lost my train of thought for a second. Anyways, but that feeling is what you want to be tuned into, not attached to the actual outcome, but that feeling that that outcome gives you. If it lights you up, it makes you so excited, then that's what you want to focus on. Now, I would do things like I visualize myself on my piece of land with my feet like in the dirt. Like I see it, I actually can feel my feet there, and just like in the dirt of my garden and looking out at my property and seeing it all and how beautiful it is. So that helps me to have that feeling that helps me create it, right? Now, when you move forward, as you move forward, it's important to always be looking at your fears, your beliefs, your conditioning, what society says, because it does get into our head, and we need to always be aware of those things that are holding us back from really creating what we really want. And then you just allow the expansion to happen. Allow the universe, your higher self, whatever words you want to use. It really is you that is creating it. The universe just makes it even bigger with the help of your higher self, if you want to look at it that way. Remember that lots of unexpected things will come your way. They will be really good, amazing surprises, but you have to trust in those steps. Sometimes things that look like the worst thing that can ever possibly happen to you are actually the best thing that can happen to you. These things are disguised because we don't yet understand it. For example, somebody could lose their home. They weren't able to make the payments. They lose their home and they end up somewhere like this. This is a very inexpensive place to live or to stay, because you can't technically live here. It is absolutely beautiful. And yes, you live simply. You might go from a big house to a very small house, but in being here, you may realize what is actually most important to you. And that could end up being like the best thing that ever happened to you, right? So just remember that when bad things happen, they may not be bad at all. They may just be showing you the way to what is really the best thing possible for you. And some of those steps may not look amazing. I've had many moments of fear on this journey. I've had many moments where I'm like, I just want to live my normal life again. I don't know how to deal with this. I moved here. I don't know how to do anything with a camper. Like, they didn't show me anything. I have to figure out every little thing all by myself. YouTube is amazing, but everything is a little different. Each camper is a little different. There's not really much on YouTube about our particular camper, but I had to figure out the septic tank, and I had to figure out the propane. I had no idea where the propane was, but my brother did. Luckily, he helped me with that. But it's all new. And there are days when I wake up that I'm just like, what was I thinking? But every day I sit out here and I think, how could anything be more amazing and more perfect? We have deer that walk up here. In fact, they'll like walk up right behind me and nudge my shoulder. Or they'll walk up the driveway and be like, hello, we're here. Like they're not shy at all. And it's absolutely amazing. We have so much beautiful wildlife. And I see that and I think this is absolutely the most incredible experience I could ever have. So it doesn't mean that everything is always perfect. But it is all, for me, this is all a learning curve. I'm learning so much through this experience. And it's allowing me to step into where I really want to be. I don't want to say where I want to be, because I want to be here too, because look at this, like who wouldn't want to be here? But that bigger picture that I'm creating for myself, it's propelling me forward. And here I can sit here and chat with the nature spirits every day, the same ones. I don't have to travel to a different location. A little fairy garden right here next to me. I have this opportunity to connect with the earth in a much deeper way than I have ever been able to before, because in the past I was had to travel to get to nature. And now here it is. I'm living in nature. So hopefully this helps you a little bit, these steps. Like I said, this is definitely not everything, but it can help you. Maybe it will inspire you. And remember that message that I said about sometimes those things that we think are the worst thing ever that could happen to us are actually the greatest blessings. So I hope that you are all doing really well. I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.